What advice would you give to brand new brokers? I just joined EXP, commercial, brand new agent, brand new to the industry, semi-retired CEO of IT company. I would like to know more and consider potentially also brokering some business deals, especially in the information technology. What advice would you give me, please? Thank you.
So first of all, what state are you in, Dennis?
I'm South Florida.
Okay. So join the Florida Business Brokers Association if you've not done so already. And I believe that through Florida Business Broker Association, they also have an agreement with IBBA so that you get a full IBBA membership. If you join EXP Commercial and you want to sell businesses, then they typically require that you join the IBBA. You take IBBA 104, 107, and 119. And then they connect you with somebody to be a mentor to help walk you through your first 3 transactions. So if again, join Florida Business Broker Association because that will give you your IBBA membership, plus you'll get all the benefits of the Florida Business Broker Association as well. And Florida has forms and things that you can use. And take the courses through IBBA. And then, the first step is get a listing. I mean, you got to tell people that you are selling businesses. And the first step is always getting a listing. You've got to have find a seller that wants to sell their business, because that's really where everything starts. And so from there, once you find a business, first of all, don't get a listing in terms of just throwing paper in front of somebody and saying, here, how much do you want for it? And sign on the dotted line, because that's not a way to do things properly. So you want to find a business owner who wants to sell. Maybe they want to retire. There's a whole baby boomer generation out there that's looking to sell their businesses right now. And so, the way to proceed with that is, okay, well, you want to sell your business. That's great. Let me, first we need to determine what we believe we can sell the business for. We need to do a business price analysis or a business valuation, so that we can determine the market value. So in order to do that, we're going to need the financials. And I always recommend people do any recasting of financials off of the tax returns and use the profit and loss statements and balance sheets as additional support. And the reason for that is because at the end of the day, lenders want to tie back to the tax returns, buyers want to tie back to the tax returns. And so you will find that if you do everything off of P&Ls and balance sheets, that at some point in the future you have an offer, and the buyer and lender then want to see the tax returns, and your tax returns bear absolutely no resemblance to your P&Ls, and you've just wasted 6 months or 8 months or 4 months or whatever. And as an example, I remember a guy, he was a spec home builder, wanted to sell his construction company, and his P&L showed $1 million slightly over $1 million in gross revenue for the year, but his tax return showed $600,000 in gross revenue. So the problem was that when you recast off the P&Ls, it showed he was making about $300,000 in gross profit. But when you recast off of the tax returns, it showed he was losing money because he didn't declare any of that. Well, there's no way you can go to a bank with tax returns that are showing losses and actually get a loan to buy a business. And so, fortunately I got all that up front because I got burned years ago. So I get everything up front now before I take a listing. But that's it. I mean, you need to determine what the value of the business is. Then you need to have a conversation with the business owner and say, okay, based on the information you provided to me, the financials and so forth, your business, I think we can sell your business somewhere between, $550,000 and $600,000. And if the seller says, no, I need 1.2 million, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to get there from it. I mean, it's just, you're looking at the Grand Canyon there. So then it becomes a matter of educating the business owner on how businesses are valued and how you determine the value, and why, even though he wants 1.2, his business cash flow is not going to substantiate 1.2, and so forth. So there's a lot of education that has to happen. But if you're brand new, and I know some of this is kind of like drinking out of a fire hose, so I apologize for that. When you're brand new in the business, first thing you need to do is learn how to recast financials, and learn how to recast off of both the tax returns and the P&Ls. And that is the most critical skill you're going to need to have. Because if you can't value a business correctly, you're going to be putting all kinds of things on the market that are never, ever going to sell. And you basically are going to be the hamster on the habit trail, running and running and running and exhausting yourself, but not closing any deals. Anybody want to add to that? Margot, you got some experience here.
Yeah, I do have some thoughts on that. I remember when I started out about 8 years ago, I took really dinky listings, like a food truck type of operation. And that could be another tricky thing, because if the business is only going to be listed at maybe $35,000 or $40,000, it might not make sense for somebody to pay your minimum fee. So maybe you start out and your minimum fee is only $5K. You're not doing the 10%, or you are doing the 10%, you're doing 3,500, but at least you're in there getting your feet wet. And, you could run the numbers roughly, drill down to that discretionary earning, and then just do your multiple, take it 2 times. And I agree with Tanya. Just get a listing, get out there, start, shaking people's hands, getting to know people, and discovering how you can best communicate and articulate what you're selling, so that you can draw interest and get people in there to make an offer. And definitely get in there with your association, so you have your forms, so you look really professional. And yeah, just hard work. Go for it.
Great advice, ladies. Thank you so much.
Sure. In terms of recasting, IBBA they offer an educational summit periodically, maybe 4 times through the year. It's 3 days. Well, it's actually 32 hours, but it's 3 courses. It's IBBA 210, 220, and 221. And they are focused on recasting and pricing businesses. So 32 hours of nothing but recasting and pricing businesses. So I highly recommend that educational summit. It also counts as, it's also required actually towards your CBI if you are working towards getting a CBI designation. So that would be a great way to learn more about recasting. And then, if you are in California, CAB has, if you're in California, you want to join California Association of Business Brokers, because again, California has a deal with IBBA, so that when you join CAB, you get full IBBA membership through your CAB membership. But then you also, IBBA stands for International Business Broker Association. So the benefit is that, in California, we also have forms that are California specific. We have training that's California specific, or educational courses that are California specific, because we all know Planet California has its own set of rules and laws. So Planet California can be a little difficult to work in sometimes. But if you are in Virginia, there is or the Carolinas, there's the Carolinas, Virginia Business Broker Association. It's either CVBBA or something like that. So look and see if there's a local business broker association that you can join in it. And some of them, like Florida. I think Carolinas used to, I don't know. They did, I think they had an affiliation with IBBA, so they also had it set up where IBBA, they would get free membership. I know Texas just made that agreement with IBBA, so Texas Business Broker Association, now you get a free IBBA membership. All of these associations. So but IBBA also has a tremendous amount of education available online on demand. So you can go back through their education catalog and see if there's any additional courses. Maybe they may have like an introduction to recasting or something like that, which you may be able to take at your leisure on demand and not have to wait for an educational summit, but their educational summit on recasting and pricing, I definitely would recommend.